I'm from the Department of Theater Arts, and how many of you, just out of curiosity, have been to see a live performance? Anywhere, anywhere. Sweet. This is wonderful. How many of you have been to see a live performance? I know this is your first semester and we've only had one show here. More than I would think. Okay. Yeah, you better. She's a major in the department. She has to be there. It's required. Otherwise, we hunt her down and kill her. Which, yeah, I'm not. No. That's actually my attendance policy, that if you don't come to my class, I can hunt you down and kill you. It's strict, but it works. Okay. No, anyway, theater arts. When Dr. Steinmack asked me to do this, it was in the middle of the summer, and I was in the midst of trying to figure out, I'm actually directing 3 shows at the same time right now. Yeah, it's like, that's a little nuts. I don't usually do that, but we had a couple of different circumstances this year. So right now I'm doing a children's theater tour that's getting ready to go out. I'm working with Shelby. Where are you? Shelby's hiding back here. Shelby's in this, you've got to go see it. She's in this Greek piece that we're going to do for the library for this big symposium that we're doing. So we're doing 3 selections from the Greek theater. And I'm getting ready in 2 weeks, a week and a half now, to start rehearsals for A Christmas Carol, which we're going to do at the end of the semester. And yes, I have a tiny Tim, this tall. That makes everybody come to the theater if you put a child this tall on stage. So I thought, sure, I've got time to do this. I'm not doing anything else. But he gave me a prompt, and the prompt was, the world is my blank. I thought, all right. The world is my crap. I don't know what the world is. So I thought, okay, well, the first thing that comes to my mind every time I hear that phrase is the world is my oyster, and I thought, yeah, I can't use that. Okay, so I asked my husband, who's a designer in the theater arts department. That's fortunate for us, isn't it? Okay, if you were given the phrase, the world is my, what would you say? And he said, oyster. I went, okay, fine, okay, that's good. I went to our costume designer and I said, Karen, if I were to say to you, the world is my, what would you say? And she said, oyster. So, crap, this is not helping me with theater. It makes us sound like we're fishermen. So yeah, no, okay. But then I thought, okay, we're pearls in the sand. I went, no, that's too goofy. But then the more I thought about it, I thought, okay, I could do the world is my stage. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. Yeah? You've heard this before? Anybody know what it's from? Tell me. No! But it was a lovely guess. Okay. My no was because, actually, though it's all right, we're not in a theater. You know that you cannot never say that word in a theater. It's bad luck. Did you know that? If you were in a theater, I would have to make you go outside, turn around 3 times, spit, and then ask to be let back in. I promise not to do that. So anybody else, another guess? What's it from? Yes. As You Like It, yes. It's the character of Jakes. He's a very morbid and depressed individual most of the time. But yeah, all the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. And he goes through the 7 ages of man. And he talks about the schoolboy. Well, first he says the infant mewling and puking in its nurse's arms. I just love that, mewling and puking. Makes you never want to have children. Then the schoolboy trudging to school. And then you have the young man, the lover, the sighs like a furnace, and you've got the general out on the field, and then he gets you to the old people, and you watch it all shrink up, and yeah, it's like, okay, and then he takes you to death. Thank you. You just cheered me up immensely. So I decided, no, that's not it either. Okay. Yeah, the world is our stage, but the world is my blank. And then I decided that that's actually what it is. It is my blank. It can be anything I want it to be. And that's what we do in theater, is we take anything that's out there and we can turn it into theater. Okay, let me ask you. What do you need to have theater? Anybody know? Any ideas? What do you need? You can't answer. Okay. She's a major, so... Yes, ma'am. A story helps, okay. A story helps.
People.
People. Okay, but what kind of people? Good people. Good people. Good people. Actually, keep that in mind. We'll come back to it. Yeah. Creativity. Yeah, that's helpful too. We've got story, we've got people, we've got creativity, we've got good people. Do we need bad people? Sometimes. A stage. Thank you. Okay. We need a stage. Is this a stage? Yeah. Thank you. Yes, it is. What else do I need? I am up here, right? What am I? All the world's a stage. And all, okay, yeah, I'm a hammy actor right now, okay? Okay. So you need an actor, you need a stage. What else do you need? I heard it right here. Say it again. Say it again into the microphone.
An audience.
Thank you. I just wanted it on the tape. Okay. You need an audience. The only three components you need for theater to exist is to have an actor, a stage, and an audience. And it helps to have a story. But the story doesn't necessarily have to have words, and it can still be theater. Okay. I get all my best quotes off Facebook. And I'm connected with a lot of theater people on Facebook, and somebody posted this last week, and I thought, that's great, I can use that in this talk that I'm going to do today, except I didn't write down who actually said it. But it makes sense to me that theater is essentially a group of human beings trying to communicate to another group of human beings what it means to be a human being. And that's about it. And the difference between theater and other forms of entertainment, you know, if you go to the movies or anything like that, is it's live. In theater, you get to see them sweat, okay? And you get to see them make mistakes. And you get to see them blow their lines and start to improvise. And that's another one I'll come, yeah. And we do, quite often, especially if you do a long run of a show. At some point, you'll forget which show you're in for a moment and go to the wrong lines. I used to do a Shakespeare tour when I was younger, and we would go out on the road, and we had about 6 different shows that we would do, and we would do them in rep, which meant, you know, it's Tuesday afternoon, so we are doing boom, okay? And you get out on stage, and sometimes it's like, crap, which show am I in? Because it's the same group of actors, and the costumes were roughly the same because we were traveling, and you would get out there, it's like, okay. And so we had a cue to let everybody else know that we didn't know what we were going to say next, and you have to do it in iambic pentameter. And so it was, I am amazed and know not what to say, but more of this anon, for I must away. And then you'd exit, look up the script, and then come back on again so that you could continue with the play. But that was the cue to everybody else is like, okay, she doesn't know where we are. So we heard that one a lot the further into the tour we got. So, and yeah, that was just the cue. If you heard it 5 or 6 times in the same show, people might start to wonder, but yeah, we could pull that one out. So yeah, you need the actor, you need the audience, you need something to tell them about, okay, and this story. And sometimes it's with words. But for the most part, what we do in theater and how it all started is that it's people observing the human condition and letting you all know about it, okay? I'm going to tell you a story, and you're a historian, right? So you can vouch that this is historically accurate 100%. 1 million years BC. Oh, okay, okay. There was a caveman by the name of Og, okay? It's true. His name was Og. You don't believe me, do you? Og the caveman. Og the caveman was a brave and great hunter, okay? The problem was that in Og the caveman's days, nobody really spoke too much, so they said things like, okay, and that was about it. But in Og's village, it had been a rough year, and people were starting to starve, and Og decided that what he needed to do was save the village, okay? He could not communicate this to anybody else because did not really say what he really felt in his heart. Okay, so without telling anybody else, because they wouldn't have understood him anyway, he got his spear and he went off by himself, and he stalked this woolly mammoth for days. And finally, with a well-placed throw of the spear, he killed the woolly mammoth and drug it back to his village, where everyone rejoiced. Could you all rejoice for me? This is participatory theater. Okay, thank you. I knew you would. Okay, so anyway, they all rejoiced. They had a great feast. They had the hide. They could use that for, I mean, it was great. It was really good. But at one point, you know, everybody was quieting down. It's like Thanksgiving, right? After the big meal, everybody sits around going, oh, yeah, okay, fine. And then, I don't know how it is in your family, but in my family, people start telling the same old stories over and over again. That never happens anyplace else, am I right? Yeah, okay. So you hear about, yeah, the same story. So they're all sitting there, and in their they indicate to Og that they want to know how he killed this woolly mammoth. Because, you know, they were just too excited to eat it before, but now they want to know how it happened. He doesn't have language skills, so he gets a couple of his friends, and he makes them get under the hide, and he shows them how to walk. And so they're walking around as the woolly mammoth, and he takes his spear, and he shows himself stalking, and then he shows himself killing. And fortunately, he doesn't actually kill his friends. It's okay. But the friends get the idea, because this is a lot of fun, and they fall down. Hey, this is great. Okay. So the next day, after this woolly mammoth thing, okay, it's time for the after Thanksgiving sales to start. They all decide they want to do another hunt. So they get together and they all go out and they have the best hunt they've ever had in their entire lives. And they come back, and for a long time it's very prosperous, yes? But then they fall on hard times again. And they sit around and they're around the fire and they start thinking, you know, the last time we had a really good hunt, the night before we went out, we did that thing where they put on the hide and we stalked the guy and then we sort of pretended. Let's do that again. So it's nighttime, they get a couple guys, they put on the thing, somebody pretends to be Og, because this is years later and Og has been eaten by a saber-toothed tiger, but yeah, okay. So somebody pretends to be Og, and he stalks him, and they kill the thing, and they go out the next day, and they have the best hunt they've had in years. Obviously, if you enact the killing of the woolly mammoth by Og, you will have a good hunt. Am I right? Yes? It makes perfectly logical sense. How many of you are sports fans? Just asking here. Okay. How many of you play on a sports team? All right. Any rituals before the game?
I don't know. Just kind of do whatever works.
You do whatever works. That's specific. Okay. Anybody else? Anything you do before a game? How many? I mean, I'm a huge, huge Michigan State fan. I know I'm in Illinois, but I'm a huge Michigan. I went to school there. Okay, so I bleed green. So every time, and we're not that good this year in football, I'm sorry to say, but every time before, if I do not wear the colors, we may not win. Right? Do you go to games? Do you wear colors? Homecoming's coming. Are you going to dress up? Okay? Because if you don't, what might happen? We could lose. Yeah, you got to show team spirit, right? So we have a lot of these same sort of things that we do where we think what we do can impact what happens elsewhere. And it's that idea of ritual that we go through. But ritual, in this case, is also storytelling. And it's a very early form of storytelling that turned into theater. Okay? Now I'm going to flash forward, and that's absolutely historically accurate, right? Sure. Yeah, okay. Okay.
But it could be worse as far as the
yeah.
football analogy, as you could have gone to Indiana.
I could have.
Although I remember we used to be.
I know, I do too. I was even at one of those games one time. So anyway, but, okay. Flash forward, okay, to let's say roughly 500 BC, okay? Okay, we have come forward a long way. We are now in Greece. You are in Athens. Anybody been to Greece? Yay, okay. I'm going to ask her. Okay. Okay, okay. What was Greece like? What did you see there?
Well, we did the Acropolis.
Very good. Acropolis, way up high. Okay, okay.
Acropolis was good, but the city.
Okay. What'd you have to eat?
Gyros.
okay, which is made with what? Thank you. Okay. All right. So you visited some ruins and you had lamb, okay? This has a point, believe it or not. Okay. Greece, 500 BC, essentially an agrarian society. It's a very rocky landscape. They raise a lot of sheep, yes. Okay, Athens, it was a seaport. And so this was a place where they had a lot of people that would come at certain times of the year to be able to sell the wares from the sheep, to be able to sell grain, to be able to do all of that sort of thing. Okay, you get a lot of people into town at one time, and what do you need to provide for them? If you've ever been to a conference, what do you need to provide? Entertainment. Okay. Entertainment is a good thing because you can keep people happy and they'll keep coming back to your city. And they'll spend more money and it'll all be good. Okay. The Greeks, like anybody else, had their stories. And their stories are based in religion, very much like Og the caveman, out of this ritual, which is kind of a religious thing, had a story to tell. But theirs are based in the gods and the goddesses, and if you ever want to see anything or read anything that is absolutely more convoluted than any soap opera that has ever been made, read Greek tragedy, yes. Or read the mythology. It's fantastic. Okay, there's just all kinds of things going on that I won't even get. Or come and see our Greek play, right? Okay, all kinds of things going on in there. But the thing of it is the people would come to town, and the way this started to evolve was basically out of ritual. We had language by this time, and it started out as kind of song competitions where people would sing songs about the gods, and they would do it in groups. And eventually somebody got the brilliant idea that if we make it a competition, more people will come and watch it. And that can be kind of fun. Well, once you start making things a competition, okay, it's okay, you've got your group from town, they sit around and sing, but what if we all dressed the same way? Okay, let's put a few dance moves in. All right, hey. Okay, it is show choir, okay, it's show choir competition. It's all of those kinds of things, it's glee. Okay, that's what it is, but it's the Greeks. Okay, 500 BC, Glee. Okay, but they're singing the songs about their gods. At some point, they moved it. They did it in the agora, which was the marketplace, and they moved it to the hillside because they could seat everybody up on the hill, and they carved this in there, and the performances were taking place down there. And eventually, what this evolved into was theater, because they started adding more components. They started adding mask, they started adding costume, they started adding movement. We had Greek playwrights who said, okay, if we've got one person, we've got a group singing, if we have one person come out and step away, that person then pulls more focus and attention, so we're giving them a solo, okay, yeah? And that first person, as far as we know, and this is actually not historically, we don't know. Okay, but it is rumored that it was a person by the name of Thespis, which is where we get thespian for actor, that he was the first to step away and become an actor. What they're talking about when they're looking at all of this, back in ancient Greece, back with Og the caveman, what they're commenting on is the things that happen in their own society that affect them. The plays were about wars, about how the gods intervene or don't intervene. They were about the roles of, there's one of the plays that we're doing is Medea, which talks about the roles of women in society. The Trojan Women is one of the strongest anti-war plays that's ever been written, and it was written back in, before the Christian era. Okay, and it's been around for a long time. A lot of those plays don't exist anymore. They were destroyed. But some remained for a long time, and we still have them. And they still have messages that pertain to audiences today because they are all comments on the human condition. And that's why I say the world is my blank. Whatever happens out in that world, that's things that I can take and give to you as a theater artist. Why do you think people go into theater? Just out of curiosity. I'm doing fine. Anybody? Why would you go into theater? Yeah. Because they love to act, okay? But how do you make that first step out on the stage? What says to you you want to get up there and go out on the stage and put on a goofy costume and do this stuff in front of people? Any of you put on, yeah, go ahead.
You can kind of escape your own reality.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, when you're on stage, when you are taking on, and this is one of the things that even the Greeks talked about. They talked about the magic of the mask, that it lets you step outside your own reality and embody someone else. And during that time, you can learn something not only about that character, but about yourself as well. So sometimes, a lot of times, the perception is that actors are all of these extroverts who want to be out there on, showing off in front of people. But quite often, you'll find a lot of actors are very introverted and spend a lot of time studying what makes people tick before they go out there on stage. But they found a release in being able to perform that. And there's also the idea of being able to communicate something that's important to them. I got into theater, to be honest about it, on a dare when I was in high school. I did. I was changing schools. And I was in a school that was a smaller school that had closed down, and we were sort of pulled into another school. And there was a little bit of animosity about us coming into that. So there were, and it wasn't a lot, but there was somebody who said, well, you might as well just plan on not being in anything because we're not going to let any of you guys in. Which to me is like saying, I dare you. So as soon as they say that to me, I'm going to do it. So I went out for everything I could possibly do. I had never done theater in my life. And I went in and I watched what other people did, and I got up and I started doing it. And once I was in there, it opened up a whole realm for me. And I ended up finding that that was one of the, it encapsulated everything that I love about all of the other subjects that I liked. I loved English. Okay, well, we're dealing with plays and playwrights and literature and language. I love history. A lot of the plays are historically based, and we study those. I love music. I was a music major as well, and a lot of music finds its way. It's not just musicals, but there's a musicality that's in theater itself. Dance is in there. Art is in there. Practical trades are in there. To be a theater major, you end up learning English and history and literature and psychology. Somebody came to see me today who's a psychology major and was asking, does it make any sense that I want to be in theater? And I said, absolutely, because that's what you do when you start to study characters. You study the psychology of it. Sociology. We look at how people work together. So anything that you're interested, you can pull into it. There's a list when you start to look at the types of theater that are out there. One of the things that I'm very interested in is children's theater. And the children's theater that I started working on was a group called the Grips Theater that was based at the time in West Berlin. It's been a while. West Berlin is not there anymore, but the motto of that theater was, ein Kind mit ohne Kopf ist ein Krüppel für Leben. German scholars. Rats. We don't have one in here. It means, were you going to guess?
Something about a child with a head.
Very good. Okay, it's actually translated loosely, mit ohne Kopf, without a head, without a mind, without an imagination. A child without imagination is a cripple for life. And part of the reason I got into children's theater is I got to work with a fantastic man by the name of Brian Way, who had been, he was from London, and he had worked with Tyrone Guthrie? Crickets, okay. Tyrone Guthrie was an English director and actor and theater practitioner who moved us away from the proscenium theater, where an actor stands here and you guys are there, to more of a thrust type of arrangement, which was closer to what Shakespeare did. And he had a theater that was built in Stratford, Ontario, and the Guthrie Theater in Minneapolis, Minnesota. If you ever get a chance to go see it, it's fantastic. It's really a cool place to go visit. But anyway, Brian Way worked with him, but became more interested in working with the child audiences that came in. So he developed a whole style of working with children. But most of his plays are based on, so if I've got any early childhood development, elementary ed, aha, we've got a few, okay. He'd be right up your alley because he liked working with children and helping them develop and using drama to help them develop. So it can be used for things along that line. The Grips Theater that I was talking about did socio-political children's theater. Sounds really exciting, doesn't it? Socio-political children's theater. It took conditions that children were in, and it gave them an outlet to explore things that bothered them in the theater and to come to an understanding of them. And one of the things that I kind of discovered through all of this is that theater can be used to help someone grow or to overcome something in their lives. So, I mean, that's one of the things that I like about it. But I also like adult theater that has a message as well. And the message doesn't have to be, this is the message, let me hit you over the head, right? It can be something that's very, very subtle that can be used. We did a play, and this is what I'm talking, we did a play a few years ago. One of the things that I'm also very fond of is Irish theater. And my favorite playwright is a man by the name of Brian Friel. And Brian Friel is still living. He's the first person I've talked about so far that's not dead. Brian Friel he worked with a theater in Belfast, and one of the primary actors in his company when he was first getting started, a name you will know, Liam Neeson. Yes? Yes. How many are you going to go see that movie? Me too. Okay, so yeah, so Liam Neeson got his start working in this theater in Belfast with Brian Friel. And one of the plays that he got his start in is one called Translations. Translations, you know the movie I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm trying to explain it to them.
Oh, we'll catch you up later. It'll all be good. Good Lord. Great movie. I like movies where things blow up. I like children's theater and movies where things blow up. Don't ask. Okay, but anyway, Translations is this play that is set in Ireland in the late 1700s, and it's historically based. I don't know how many of you are up on your Irish history. No hands went up. Okay. If you get a chance while you're here, take Newton Key's History of Ireland course. It's fantastic. It's really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, Newton Key is so old, he taught me as an undergrad.
Did he really? Oh, okay.
That's what I've been telling the history people.
Yeah. He's so old. Yeah. No, but his History of Ireland class it rocks. It's really good. So take that class. But anyway, in this particular case, this was about a time in Ireland when everyone still spoke the Irish language. And in this particular play, it's the period when the British come over and they start renaming everything to make it more understandable for the general population. Yeah, completely ignoring that and it's sort of it's about eradicating the culture that's there and this lack of understanding between these two groups. And I remember when what happens is one of the British officers that's over there who's responsible for eradicating this English or this Irish language and these Irish place names falls in love with the country, falls in love with the language, and in the words of, this is something they say a lot about a lot of the people that come into Ireland at different times, is they become more Irish than the Irish themselves. Has anybody been there to Ireland? A long time ago. Where'd you go?
I know we were by the ocean. I remember the ocean vividly. That's the only thing I remember.
Okay, and it's very green, yes?
It was very rocky.
It was, okay, you were probably, you don't know if you were on the west. If you were by the ocean, it was the Cliffs of Moher. You were over there. Unless you were up on the north, the rocks were coming out of the water. Giant's Causeway. Does that sound? Okay, you might have been Giant's Causeway. It's beautiful. Go. Go with me. I do a study abroad trip, okay, which if you're not going to do the NSC, you should do study abroad. You should do both, okay. Yeah, it's an absolutely, I mean, it's about these two cultures coming together and the clash of these cultures and trying to find common ground between them and what these people have to do to hang on to their own identity and resist themselves being overpowered. When we were working on this, one of the things, I mean, I had a group of actors. I started looking at the names that I had, and they started joking with me about it. I had one actor in the company, his name's Ryan McCain. But you started going down the list, and I had Berkowitz, Zielinski. Let me see what were there. I mean, it was just all of these Polish names, one after another. And so I was trying to explain Irish culture to a group that didn't have any Irish in their backgrounds at all. And so that became one of the challenges. But what happens in that process is these actors learned about another country. They learned about another time period. They learned about relationships that they hadn't thought about before. And as individuals, they were able to grow through that. And our audience that came in, a lot of them didn't know anything about it, but because they could relate to this story, they understood more about a part of the world that they probably hadn't thought about before. Because most people coming in, if I were to say Ireland history, what do you think of? Potato famine, right? Okay. Yeah, am I right? Okay, this was pre-potato famine. There's references to it, but it's pre-potato famine. So, there are other things that had gone on, and when they start to find out about these things, you're expanding your world, and that's one of the things that theater can do for you. And I think that's one of the things that I love about it the most, is that it can touch individuals. Now, why do I think theater? I'm not going to say I think theater is better than film. I love the cinema. I love film. Film is a great thing. But theater has something, and one of the things that we talk about all the time is all the technology, and I've got my iPhone. I don't have an iPhone 5. I just got the 4S a couple months ago, so should have waited, yeah? Okay, but my other phone was dead. So, but I've got all those little things on there. I've got the iPad. I love that technology, and I love the fact that it blew up in here today. Because what it takes us back down to is the fact that what we can have is a connection between me standing here, the thing that I was talking about at the beginning, and you guys sitting out there, right? Okay, it is a connection. You don't get that in film. You do not get that connection. They can look into the camera, you can have Ferris Bueller come up and talk into the lens, but every time you see that movie, he's going to do it exactly the same way, yeah? Every time you go to see a play over in the theater, up in Chicago, wherever you go to see something, if it is live, it is not going to be the same show each time. It's going to be completely different. When I go to see things, I hear people say, I've seen it before. No, you haven't. Even if you saw that production before, you haven't seen this night, this afternoon, and it changes. And one of the things that change is that it's not just me up here telling you a story. It's me up here looking out and seeing you guys and getting feedback from you. And that affects what I do. It really does. You are part of it. You are in it. You are in it as much as the actors on the stage, okay? And how you are in the audience affects what they do, yeah? They feed off your energy. We used to have a joke this was back when I was doing stock about, we called them turkey audiences. It was the ones who went to Sunday dinner and then came into the show. And yeah, and you've had the big meal. You know what you're like after, I mentioned Thanksgiving before, right? Everybody gets a little bit sleepy. So you would have this well-intentioned audience that would go out, have a big meal, come to the theater, sit down, the lights go down, and they do too. And this is before anything starts. And you'd have to work like crazy to pull them out of that. So those are the ones we called the turkey. Those were our turkey audiences. So yeah, because we knew they were sated and full, and that was their response. My actual, I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I did a lot of dinner theater when I was doing stock, and we had cabaret nights where people tended to imbibe quite a bit. And you got a different dynamic from that as well. So, these were all things, it's feeding what you do on stage to them. So yeah, it's what what we get from you, then we can give back. So it's a communication. Even if I'm up here and I'm only talking to somebody here, I know that you're texting. Okay, so no, she's not. She's not. Okay, but I mean, I know, and I know if I've got them, and I know if I've got you, and I know if you're looking up here and paying attention to me. It's communication. And I think for that reason, theater isn't going to go away. It really, honestly isn't. It's something that I think, unfortunately, we've moved away from with this new obsession that we have with technology, that we've become so dependent on, I can't talk to you, but I'll text it to you, okay? That becomes kind of a lost art, but there's still something in us that craves that connection, that human connection, that human response. And for that reason, you go to the theater. Because you can not only experience things, you can learn about other cultures, you can learn about other people, you can learn about what makes you human, but you can connect with people as well. And that's why I love doing theater, because it is a connection, it is a communication. So the world is my blank. You guys give me part of it, okay? And I'm able to create it from that. And I get to feed off of you. I get ideas from you. I get ideas from my actors in my plays. I get ideas from the scripts that I read. I get ideas from other plays that I go see. I get ideas from movies. I steal things from everywhere. It's not plagiarism in the theater, it's borrowing. Okay, yes. It's the what?
It's like teaching.
It's like teaching.
You get ideas from watching people. You get
Yeah.
ideas who talk to you. I also think you get a similar connection with it.
Going to go to the theater, tell me yes. Sweet. Okay. Come on, more hands. Okay, come and see a play. Go see a play. It's worth it. Even if you go see a bad play, there's still something you can get. And I've seen bad theater, but there's still something you can get from it. Okay, is that a question or a stretch? What? You went to the first show. Oh, when is it? It's actually over. The next show is in a couple of weeks. Is that what? Ben Kennedy is in a play with me, yes. Yes, he is. Love baseball. Left-handed pitcher. Okay. My dad was a left-handed pitcher. Yes, he was. Yeah, my dad was a southpaw. Coached baseball. Yeah, I come from a baseball coach. But, yeah, the next play is called Almost Maine, and it's in the theater in the Doudna Fine Arts Building. How many of you have been over to Doudna? I know you have. Okay. Okay, it's I love that place. We were in a grocery store for 6 years. Almost Maine is a romantic comedy. We have a baseball player in it. He's great. And one other thing that I want to tell you, if any of you, how many of you did theater in high school? How many of you would like to do it again? Maybe. Okay. You don't have to be a major or a minor. If you love doing theater, come over and audition for us in the spring or next fall. We cast a wide net. Okay, anybody's invited. Okay, so Almost Maine is the next show, and then Christmas Carol is in December, and in between that we have Medea and Trojan Women and Antigone in the library. So we're doing a lot of stuff this year. Come and see it. Okay? Okay, you guys are great. Thank you. Okay.